Welcome back to my channel. I don't ever really know what to say when I start a video. It just kind of doesn't feel natural, but as I keep talking, things get a little bit easier, so hopefully it's a little bit more enjoyable as this goes on. Today, I'm going to talk about something that matters a lot to me. Drug addiction and recovery has affected my life in so many ways. It's just been a part of my life for so long now, but the biggest way it affects me almost daily is as a mother. I have a great partner and I love him dearly. He's also in recovery, so I just kind of, wonder what the future looks like for my son. I can control some environmental factors, but not all of it. And there's like a genetic part to addiction that we're not quite sure about yet. So I don't know, I would like to kind of go over that in a little bit more detail and hopefully it'll help you. My hair tie literally just snapped as I was filming that last bit, but whatever, let's carry on. My son is 3 years old and I have been in recovery the entire time he's been alive. So he's not living with someone in their active addiction. And that is, an unfortunate reality for a lot of children. About 25% of all children live in a home where someone has a substance use disorder. That's a lot. I've read anywhere from 1.5 million to 2 million children. I went to see a talk in my area from a local addiction management doctor, and he said in his talk that there's a 65% chance that opioid addiction has a heritable trait. That is alarming, What if it's two parents in recovery? Does that kid have his genetics stacked against him? He went on to explain it in a way that made a lot more sense to me and made me feel slightly better, all things considered. It's not that you are, 65% chance that you're going to be an addict. What is inheritable is how we react in certain situations. He gave an example. Say you have a child that, is on the straight and narrow their whole life. They have surrounded themselves by good friends, they've stayed drug-free, and they go to college. And they go with their high school friend Sally, and at the party, Sally notices that somebody is smoking weed and snorting coke. What is your child going to do? Are they going to be like, oh no, Larry's here from science, I want to hang out? Or are they going to be like, nah, this isn't cool, let's dip? I mean, I know what I said. I definitely wasn't the smartest kid. That's actually not true. I was pretty damn smart. I was on National Honor Society, I always made academic honor roll. I was just not common sense smart, I was told that heroin would kill me, and so I dabbled and it didn't, and I thought I was invincible. There's so many conflicting studies too. We all know that the DARE program and Just Say No didn't work, but there's also studies that the opposite side, which is being honest and telling your story, your struggle of addiction and recovery, that's not any more helpful than DARE. Kids are going to be interested in it regardless of how you approach it. We need to build and foster open communication with our kids. I didn't feel comfortable going to my parents about anything. I kept secrets a lot. I was a teenager, so I was overdramatic, but I just didn't feel like I would be understood. And that's kind of common for teens. And I'm hopeful that I will be able to remember that, Remember what it was like to be a teenager. Those feelings that they're feeling are valid. They might be completely unreasonable, but they're valid in the moment. And I think that if we validate their emotions, and walk them through their emotions, maybe we can teach them how to control them. Because I didn't have control over my emotions. I'm going to focus on raising a child while I'm in recovery. But, if you're in your active addiction, there's a lot of risk factors. I would highly recommend seeking help from a professional and start with therapy. Treat yourself first and then treat the family. But I'm going to talk about protective factors that I'm going to try and put in place. So hopefully he doesn't make the same choices I made, which were obviously not the best. I am definitely not a parenting expert. I studied psychology for a couple years. That doesn't make me an expert, and I'm not trying to talk down on anybody else's parenting style. This is just what I'm doing. I think it's important that the child feels validated, that they feel recognized and heard, and honestly heard. I think it's important for the child to be built up, to make them be an independent, autonomous person. You know, we can't wrap them in bubble wrap and just send them out there. We can't save the day all the time, you know. I used to forget my glasses at home, and my mom would leave her work and then bring my glasses to the school. I would forget homework and she'd come in. I would forget to do assignments until the night before, and she would stay up late helping me. And while that was, you know, her way of showing that she loved me, she was a teacher, so she did want me to do well. It's not what worked. I am afraid of failure. I will not try things if I think I'm going to fail. Making these videos is so nerve-wracking because, you know, it's the internet and the internet's scary. But I think that controlled exposure to failure is necessary and healthy, you know, within reason. Don't let your kid fall to the point where they get so discouraged they don't want to try. Let them get acclimated to failure because it's part of life. You know, you fail, you get back up, you try again. You might fail again, but you just keep going. I think that it's important not to gaslight them over stupid things. Like, obviously, don't be mean, don't be a jerk, don't lie to them because it makes your parenting easier. You know, build that communication and that trust. Because why would you lie about if you shut the gate or not? You know, he's just gonna question it and it's gonna cause doubt. Why don't you just say, yeah, I did? He's probably gonna go, why? You know, and you're not gonna have an answer that he wants. He's probably gonna ask why again, but you just gotta build that connection. You know, I didn't feel like I could come to my parents with the truth over anything, and I didn't feel like I was believed or understood, and so I went to other people, or I didn't say it at all and I internalized it. I want to try and help him develop a sense of resiliency, an external locus of control. You know, I don't know how much of that is within our actual control, like if we are just, you know, naturally internal or external locus. I think that we need to recognize the consequences for our actions. And it's not just like, oh, woe is me, this happens to me all the time, I have the worst luck. Like, no, dude, you're making bad choices, and bad stuff happens when you make bad choices. And you have to own up to that. I was forced into doing that, and thank God, because it really helped me change my life around. I also think that we need to demonstrate healthy boundaries in our relationships, our friendships, our marriage. We all know that actions speak louder than words, but seriously, it all matters to a kid. They hear it, they hold on to it, they see you do otherwise, they don't understand. It makes you seem less credible, less authentic, and that's not who I want to be. The number one thing in raising a child while you're a recovering addict is to put your oxygen mask on first, always. You can't help anyone and you can't care for them if you don't care for yourself. Like, I struggle with depression, as do a lot of recovering addicts, and I can beat myself up about the times, you know, that I couldn't get out of bed, that I didn't play with him enough, that I didn't do this, that I didn't do that, or I did this instead. I need to focus on self-care, take care of my mental health, and then my relationship just gets so much better with him. So how about you guys let me know what you do with your children? Is there anything I said that you just don't understand or you disagree with? Let me know in the comments. I want to know how old your kids are, how long you've been in recovery. You know, tell me your stories too.